All right, let's talk about something that drives pretty much every English learner crazy. How do you get those new words you learn to actually stick?
Does this sound familiar to you? You put in the time, you memorize a new word, you feel great about it, and then poof, the very next day, it's just gone. It honestly feels like your brain is a bucket with a hole in it.
Well, here is the good news. It's not you. The problem isn't your memory. It's almost certainly the method you're using. So in this explainer, we're going to break down 10 super effective methods to lock those words into your brain for good.
First things first, we have to get active. Passive learning, like just staring at a word list, is basically a recipe for forgetting. These first few methods are all about making your brain actually participate in the process.
This one sounds almost too simple, but the physical act of writing is so powerful. And I don't mean typing, I mean actually picking up a pen and writing on paper.
So why does this work? It's because of something called haptic memory. The actual motion of your hand, the feeling of the pen on the paper, that creates a physical memory trail in your brain, which makes the word so much harder to forget later on.
Okay, building on that same idea of getting physical, our next method is just as easy. Don't just see the word, say the word out loud.
When you do this, you're creating what I like to call a triple action. You're using your eyes, your mouth, and your ears all at the same time. This creates multiple connections to that word in your brain. It just makes it so much stickier.
Now, I know this one can feel a little weird at first, but trust me, it is an absolute game changer. You've got to use the words in actual speech, even if you're the only person in the room.
Just narrate what you're doing. As you go about your day, describe it in English. This forces your brain to stop translating in your head and to actually start thinking in English. You're not just remembering a word, you're using it.
The last active method is maybe the most important one of all. You have to make it fun. Learning should not feel like a punishment. Word puzzles, mobile apps, trivia, it all counts.
And there's real science behind this. When you're having a good time, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. Now, dopamine doesn't just make you feel good. It's like a supercharger for your memory. So yeah, fun literally helps you learn better.
Okay, so we've woken up the brain. Now let's change the world around it. This next part is all about immersion, just soaking it all in.
This might be the number one most important rule for learning vocabulary. Never, ever, ever learn a word all by itself. A word just floating in space has nothing to hold on to. Think about it. Our brains are built for stories and situations, not just random lists of data. Take the word bank. What does it mean? Well, it could be a place for money or the side of a river. But if I say I need to deposit my paycheck at the bank, the meaning is instantly clear and it's way more memorable.
So where do you get all this context? You build it. You surround yourself with English. And the best part is, you really don't need to buy a plane ticket to do this. See? Small little changes like these create an environment where English isn't some subject you study for an hour. It becomes a part of your life. It's about making English unavoidable, but, in the best way possible. Look, textbooks are fantastic for learning the rules, but they don't always capture that messy, fast, natural rhythm of how real people talk. Your goal here should be to listen to authentic, real English. You'll pick up on slang, common phrases, and the actual flow of a conversation that you just can't find in a book. All right, for our last section, let's get into a few clever tools and brain hacks that can make your studying way more efficient. Let's be honest, some words are just plain tricky. For those stubborn ones, we can use something called mnemonics, which is just a fancy word for creative little memory tricks to help them stick. The rule here is simple. The sillier or weirder the trick, the better it works, because our brains remember things that are out of the ordinary. So for a word like necessary, thinking it's necessary to have 1 coffee and 2 sugars is a goofy but super effective way to remember that it has 1 C and 2 S's every time. This brings us to a really common trap, relying too much on translation apps. I get it, they're fast, but they give you the answer without making you think. An English-to-English dictionary, on the other hand, forces you to stay in that English mindset, which actually strengthens your learning. And now for an old-school tool that is a classic for a very good reason: flashcards. They are so incredibly effective for practicing active recall. But there's a catch. You have to use them the right way. And this goes right back to our rule about context. The back of the flashcard should not just have a one-word definition. It has to have a full sentence using the word. This makes sure you're not just memorizing a fact, you're understanding how to actually use the word. So, we've just gone through 10 different strategies, everything from physical tricks to digital tools. So what's the big takeaway here? There is no single magic method that works for everyone. The best learners are the ones who build their own personal toolkit. Try writing words by hand for a week, then maybe switch to playing games. Try talking to yourself. Experiment. See what clicks for you. At the end of the day, remembering words is all about exercise. You have to build up and strengthen those pathways in your brain. So think of these methods as different workouts. The only question left is, which one are you going to start with today?